Hey everybody, and welcome to Ash Talk for January 5th, 2022. Happy New Year to you all. Happy 2022. Hey, don't look out on this new year with I know there's a lot of trepidation. There's a lot of memes talking about like, okay, what kind of misery is this year going to bring upon us? You know what? Let's have a positive outlook. Just do your best to live well this year, help others, and we can make this a good year in spite of circumstances, right? That's how I feel about it, and I just kind of wanted to try and start on an uplifting note this time, just to because this year doesn't have to be bad. Bad things are going to happen, but the year doesn't have to be bad. I say as I have this this really bad headline up on the screen, but anyway, yeah, there are bad things, and we need to talk about them, but I also just wanted to note that this show is pre-recorded, as you probably have already figured out. I'm going to put it up as a premiere, so it will play out like a live stream, and there will be a live chat that you can participate in. Unfortunately, I will not be talking to you live and responding live to the live chat this time. Going forward, I'm still making decisions about how to do this, but this worked well for this week because at the time when I normally live stream, my kids are going to have friends over they haven't seen in a while, and so there's going to be kids running around, and it's going to be very noisy. So, yeah, just didn't work for this week, and for that and a number of other reasons, I'm pre-recording the show here. But anyway, so Bungie in a little bit of hot water. This is not new news. This is actually almost a month old now, but it's something that has been getting some attention now for some reason on our Discord server. By the way, this is kind of the focus of this show, is talking about what's been on your minds, on our community's minds, and what's been discussed on our Discord server. So I wanted to talk about this just kind of briefly, but it feels like no big game company is immune to this right now. And, Bungie tried to be preemptive this year, probably, in response to everything going on with the lawsuits and all of the allegations surrounding Activision Blizzard, which we've talked to death, so I won't go into, but, Bungie, who had a 10-year publishing contract with Activision, so they were, it's not like, they were kind of close to the situation. They've stumbled across their own problems. There's a new report out from IGN who spoke to 26 current and former employees. Much better than Jason Schreier's approach of I spoke to the 4 people who left negative reviews on Glassdoor, but they spoke to 26 current and former employees. Similar to what we at the Triple S League did with CD Projekt Red, actually, about a completely different set of issues. And also the Mad Queen was in on that. But anyway, they talked to all of these employees that worked there within the last decade. And what's come out is that, yeah, it's really bad, as it is at many of these big gaming companies. For some reason, there's these toxic work environments, and, allegations of sexism, and it's a boys' club culture, and it's heavy crunch, of course, is a perennial issue. HR protecting abusers, all of this crap. And again, so way back in July, when all this was going on with Activision Blizzard, Bungie tried to be preemptive and say, hey, we're taking a stand against this. We're trying to improve ourselves, even though there's no allegations against us right now. Maybe they knew it was coming. Who knows? But they talked about all of these issues that are persistent within the industry and how they're working to improve themselves. Which, I mean, okay, fair enough. Good, good. Okay, you want to make your company better. Good. But then when it comes out that there's been all of this crap going on, it looks like they just went into CYA mode, so they didn't get Bungie, or Blizzard did. Activision Blizzard did. So they didn't get crapped all over. I mean, I don't know if they were trying to stave it off, if they knew these allegations were coming, but anyway. So, but it was about a month ago, early December, that IGN published this report, and it prompted a response from Bungie CEO Pete Parsons. December 10th, 2021, he says, "First, I want to apologize to anyone who has ever experienced anything less than a safe, fair, and professional working environment at Bungie." Okay, you know, this is better than some of the so-called apology statements I've read from these, you know, from the leaders at these big companies. In all honesty, that's like, he didn't flower it up too much. Let's put it that way. So he just said, you know what? Sorry if you've ever experienced this. Or it doesn't use the word if, first of all. And I hate, you know, I hate it when you use the word if in an apology. No, I'm sorry if you felt this way. Yeah, you've just neutralized you have not neutralized your apology, but you have definitely dismissed the what the person's, you know, accusing you of. But anyway, so anyone who has ever experienced anything less than safe, fair, and professional work environment. Okay, as opening sentences go, that's pretty good. Then he says, "I'm not here to refute and or challenge the experiences we are seeing shared today by the people who have graced our studio with their time and talent." Okay, he's getting a little flowery now. "Our actions, or in some cases inactions, caused these people pain. I apologize personally and on behalf of everyone at Bungie who I know feels a deep sense of empathy and sadness reading through these accounts." Well, I'm sure a lot of them do. Hard to speak for everyone, unless he means, you know, I'm speaking on behalf of the people who do feel this way. Sorry for being nitpicky about the words. It's weird. I'm actually, you know, because this is pre-recorded, this is like the third or fourth segment I've recorded. I recorded the other stuff first. Now I'm trying to do the, trying to do the first segment, and it feels like I've done a whole show already. So he goes on to talk about how he's removed bad actors from the studio, and I was thirsty too. That's why I needed that pause. I needed to drink some water. "We've removed bad actors from our studio without respect to their tenure, seniority, or interpersonal relationships, an action we can only take when brave people come forward or when bad behavior is conducted out in the open. We've not always been transparent about what led to their removal or as swift as we should have been, but we will not tolerate toxic behavior from anyone. Being a rock star is no excuse, no matter how celebrated someone's track record is. We are now reading and digesting the full story for the first time today. We believe the people whose behavior warranted removal from our company have been terminated or are no longer working for Bungie. But if new information comes to light, whether through this story or by named or anonymous people coming forward, we will act on that information and investigate with integrity." And that's, you know, they did announce back, you know, when they did their preemptive message months ago, you know, they claimed at least that they had made a bunch of changes. And then this IGN report talks about a lot of stuff that may have happened before they made those changes. So what the real situation at Bungie is, who knows? But so yeah, anyway, you can, I mean, you're welcome to read the rest of this if you want, but let's just say that it seems like everybody is, you know, everyone's under the microscope. All these big game companies are being scrutinized now, and they should be if a lot of this crap is really going on. And yeah, there are a lot of real issues happening now. That they haven't all escalated to the level of Activision Blizzard, of course, where it's being dealt with in a, you know, on the legal level of them actually being sued, and, you know, there being illegal things that can be potentially be proven going on. But I just have to wonder if 2022 is going to be the year of the great reckoning for a lot of these big companies. Speaking of tech companies doing dumb things, this was another topic requested by some folks over on our Discord server. Find the link to the Discord server in the description down below. You can also find links to our main channel where you can subscribe for guides and comedy and other types of content like that. Subscribe here on Triple S Podcasts for news and podcast content. And also, hit that like button. Find links to all of our other things. Everything's in the description. Everything's in the description. Okay, so Tumblr at war with Apple over mature content on its app again. So apparently, Tumblr's having trouble getting. Tumblr is having trouble with its app on the Apple platform, not on other platforms. But Apple has these rules about mature content that is basically getting in the way of. Tumblr being approved on Apple's platform. So Tumblr, in response to this, in order to sort of conform to Apple's rules, has been blocking only on the Apple version of their app certain tags, which is how posts are categorized and searched for and things like that. So basically they've been blocking a whole bunch of different tags, and some of them like make sense in terms of, at least in terms of them wanting to, with Apple having these regulations, some of these terms obviously make sense, like, porn. It makes sense they would block that tag. Now I'll get to why Apple is being absolutely ridiculous here in a moment, but some of them are ridiculous. Eugene Levy? That's not that Eugene Levy. Yeah, I don't even want to read those, because it's not all sexual stuff. Some of it's other kinds of mature or disturbing content. High heels. Like you can't have a Tumblr blog about high heels. Is Tumblr a blog? I don't even really know how Tumblr works. I haven't used that. Okay, Jiggle. Okay. Okay. Leah Rambles. I mean, is there some connotation there that I don't get? Some others that make sense, but one of the words that's been banned, several tags related to stimming, it says, a common coping practice for autistic people, are banned. Why? So we can't talk about, and it says depression, PTSD, and bipolar. So mental health is too adult, too mature to talk about on here. That's what you think, Apple? No, I don't. Again, I don't know if this is Apple saying to them, hey, you can't have these topics, or if Tumblr is just going way overboard and banning like everything that they think could possibly, result in Apple restricting their app. So what the source of this is, but this is ridiculous. I mean, you can't talk about mental health things. You can't talk about mental illness. You can't talk about sexual health things. It's absurd. One of the terms that is banned is the word submission, which I guess, you can see if you're trying to ban all sexual content, then maybe you would want to... Where is that? Hold on. They describe it in here. Was it in this article? Submission. No, maybe it's this article here. Yeah, okay. But the thing with the word submission is Tumblr applies the tag automatically when a post is submitted and then published to a blog on the platform. So users on iOS who receive a submission to their blog won't even be able to view it since the submission tag is already added as shown by a post by one Tumblr user. So they banned a tag that the app itself, or that the platform itself applies to certain posts that are submitted to Tumblr. When are people going to realize that this is stupid? Like, the censorship is just... When are you going to let functional adults be adults and decide what they do and don't want to see for themselves? And what's the point of this anyway? This is where Apple's being really dumb. So Apple's like, so there's a kind of a testimonial here from a former Tumblr iOS engineer who posted a blog, who said, this is what might be causing the problem, and it's ineffective Band-Aid-like solutions. If a reviewer at Apple runs your app and finds porn, your app is rejected and you're told to correct the problem. So basically they're just like, here, fix this. You know, I found some tits, fix it now. The engineer said this would happen about once every 5 updates, but once the offending post provided to Tumblr via screenshot was removed, the app would be good to go. But once in a while, they'd get a very persistent reviewer, and it would take a lot of effort to get it fixed and to get the update greenlit. But what the hell is the point of this anyway? You know where you can see mature content on apps from the Apple Store? Literally any web browser, including Safari, which comes packaged on your iOS. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. Put a rating on it. Put a rating on it to say, hey, this might contain, you might encounter adult content on this app. Put a rating on it. And then, if some responsible parent doesn't want their kid encountering that stuff, put a setting in your iOS settings that says, hey, don't let my kid access, apps that have an adult rating. This is so dumb. What's the point of blocking it on there if you've got a browser right there on which you can find any adult content you want, including going to Tumblr's website and just looking at the posts there? What is the freaking point? This is so dumb, it makes my face hurt. This is going to be an ongoing theme in today's show. Ranting about the dumbness of stuff, because this is actually the 5th segment that I'm recording now. And the stuff coming after this I actually recorded before all this. Why I did it that way, well, it worked best that way. I don't have any words. I just don't have any words. Girl Sad and Alec Lightwood an actor from the show Shadowhunters. Single dad, single mom, single parent, suicide prevention, and testicular cancer are on the list. Look, again, whose fault is this? Tumblr? I don't know if I'm criticizing Tumblr or Apple right now. Tumblr's definitely gone overboard, though. But they've been put in a very awkward position by Apple. Just another reason to switch to a different mega corporation that'll track everything you do for your phone provider, OS provider, or you know what? Get a Nokia and just surf the internet like the good old days. So, we've been talking a whole bunch lately about NFTs and how ridiculous they are, what with various game companies getting into this business of selling in-game assets as NFTs, and a variety of other people in other industries selling digital assets as NFTs. And I mean, personally, I think this is ridiculous. if someone out there can explain to me how these things actually have value, either monetary value or value to society in some way, I'm open to listening to that. I'll be the first to admit I don't fully understand everything about them, but from what I understand, these things are they're these things on the blockchain that represent symbolic ownership of a digital asset that offers you nothing tangible at all. And we've hit peak ridiculous now with the world's very first SMS. That's the first text message ever sent, being sold for $150,000. Now, I have to put a cap on my mockery of this a little bit because this was done for charity. It was the proceeds were donated to the United Nations something. So, it was for a good cause, supposedly. I mean, I don't know anything about this United Nations organization. People have a variety of opinions about the UN. Regardless, let's put that aside for the moment. Let's just talk about, okay, done for charity. I guess that's somewhat forgivable. But let's just talk about the concept of what took place here. So the first question I'll ask is, where is the first SMS? And by the way, it was apparently this image is really small, but apparently the first text message ever sent was Merry Christmas. So it's very very timely. And again, this was done for charity, like I said, 29 years ago, December 3rd, 1992. Vodafone engineer Neil Papworth sent the message to Richard Jarvis, and he received the text on his Orbitel 901 mobile phone. Hang on, I gotta Google that. Let's see, what is this thing? This is what whoops, hold on. Okay, this is what he received. This is what the very first text message was received on. Okay, anyway. After countless attempts and iterations of the code, the sending and receiving of text via Vodafone's mobile network finally worked, making a pivotal moment in the history of mobile communication technology. I don't know, might be overstating it a little bit. I don't think text messaging has changed our lives at all. Okay, so by the way, this proves that texting existed while Seinfeld was on the air, so none of those plots have any excuse anymore. But I digress. The SMS, which was provided by Vodafone for sale in the form of an NFT. Okay, this is where I want to talk about what the ridiculousness of this situation, because what do you mean it was provided for sale in the form of an NFT? What does that mean? Do they package the text message in the NFT? When you say you sell a piece of artwork as an NFT, say you sell this picture, which I guess is kind of what already happened, but you know what I mean. When you sell a picture as an NFT, a digital picture, it's not like that picture is somehow embedded in the NFT, is it? Unless, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not actually in the blockchain. It's just it's associated with the token on the blockchain somehow, and then a name is attached to that, and that's the owner of the picture, right? Am I right? If I'm wrong about that, somebody correct me. But I have never, in my research on this over the past several weeks, I have never encountered any indication that the digital asset itself is somehow embedded or encoded in the NFT. So what was actually bought and sold here? Well, the SMS, which was provided by Vodafone for sale in the form of an NFT, fetched an impressive sum. We've already talked about that. The sum, unnamed buyer, reportedly a Canadian working in the tech sector, and it was not Cybe. If it was, I want a raise. Just saying. So the lot included a detailed replica of the original communication protocol. A detailed replica? So the original, if it still exists, is still somewhere at Vodafone. That's what that means. So regardless of whether or not this original communication protocol whatever that is, some kind of a digital entity. The original either doesn't exist or it hasn't been transferred anywhere. It's sitting somewhere. So prove it, this protocol proved the sending and receiving of the message, and an animated version, a digital frame with a 3D animation showing the moment the cell phone received the SMS, plus a certificate signed by a Vodafone Group CEO Nick Reed, guaranteeing its authenticity and uniqueness. So, can you explain to me what the buyer of this actually owns now? So I'm getting the lot at a detailed replica of is this what was sold, or is this what was put on the lot to represent the original text message, which is obviously not a physical thing? It is a pattern of, ones and zeros and electrons and whatever the hell however you want to describe it, but it's not a physical thing. And then they made an animation of the phone receiving the message, which I wish they'd included that, but they don't seem to have. And a certificate of authenticity. What did the guy buy? What did he buy? And this is the issue with this. As Max Darrett joked when he was a guest on my show a couple weeks ago, he joked that he could sell his soul as an NFT, and it really you could, because you can take an intangible thing and associate it with an NFT and sell it. I mean, that's all we're dealing with here. That's all we're dealing with, and that's why I think, again, bit of a caveat. I mean, if it's done for a good cause or something like that, if it was for charity and someone wanted to buy some scribble I made in Microsoft Paint as an NFT for a whole bunch of dollars for charity, okay, I'd probably do it. I'd participate in that for the sake of fun and supporting a good cause, but just to do it for the sake of doing it, just to do it as an actual way of making, I mean, actually, to be perfectly honest, if someone out there wants to buy a scribble that I make in Microsoft Paint for $150,000, I will do it and I will sell it. I'll figure out how to mint an NFT and I'll do it if someone's that crazy that they want to buy that. But I mean, bottom line, for the person buying, what is the benefit? What's the end goal? Because honestly, this person did it knowing their money was going to charity. They own this thing. It's kind of fun to say, oh, I own the first text message that was ever sent. I think it's more impressive to have sent the first text message ever sent, personally. But whatever, I own the first text message ever sent, and it's just kind of a fun thing to strike up a conversation at a party. But when it gets down to now, and it's one thing when you have independent artists selling their work, to support doing what they love. But when you have big game corporations getting into this for the sake of capitalizing on people's FOMO, that's fear of missing out, or to go whaling, or for whatever reasons, just to enrich them, to make themselves even richer, so the CEO can buy that 11th yacht, because of this novelty thing called the NFT that really, if they're able to convince people these have value when they actually don't, they literally do not. Well, that's a problem. And of course, most people don't seem to be standing for it in the gaming community. That's really good to see. But they have this video here. I don't know what this is actually showing, but it shows a whole bunch of code. So I don't know if this is the send. I don't know if this is the sending of the first text message, or if this is like them minting the NFT. I'm trying to see what this actually says here. Global title indicator, country code, United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. maybe this is like this might be the protocol that they were talking about. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Love to hear your comments on it, though. Hey, let's talk about the Steam Awards, aka the Game Awards that are actually awards that are games that are selected by gamers and not by, corporate fat cats and their flunkies that vote on things. Now, of course, this is pretty much restricted to PC. Of course, it'd be nice if we could have something like this that encompassed the entirety of gaming, and consoles included. It's not even just PC. It's restricted to games that are on Steam, which is most games for PC, but, there are those few Epic exclusives that nobody plays. But I thought we should check this out. So Game of the Year winner was Resident Evil Village, and honestly, deserving. I mean, arguably, there are others that it certainly deserved to be nominated. I mean, RE Village, really, really good game. Forza Horizon 5 actually here wasn't in the Game Awards. Hold on, let me double check this. But let's see, Game Awards 2021 GOTY nominees. Let's see. What am I? Nominees 2021. Well, okay, so yeah, so these games here, basically, assuming this is accurate, and Forza Horizon is not in there. I remember discussing that with, again with Max Darrett when he was on the show. Yeah, whatever. Okay, let's just go back here. But anyway, Forza Horizon 5, of course, definitely deserves to be in there. Now, Cyberpunk, if we're talking about games that had again, I guess I should clarify that, it's not that Cyberpunk was a bad game, but was it Game of the Year? I suppose, a lot of it is contextualized by a lot of the crap that was going on, the build up, the false advertising about the game that basically the lies we were told, and yeah, if you've been following us here at the Triple S League for any length of time, we gave them the benefit of the doubt for the longest time. We held out longer than most, but when it came down to it, they did not deliver the game they'd been promising for years. Might it eventually get to that point? Who knows? Did it deserve to be Game of the Year? It's hard to look at it objectively, just because of the letdown, because of all the hype for stuff that just wound up not being the case. But there was a lot they did well. There was a lot they did excellently in this game, and so it's not fair to discard it onto the junk heap just because, if you look at the game in isolation, if you just look at the game of the quality that it was. Technical stuff is, and I understand, a lot of the technical stuff has been cleared up. There's a lot of people that are playing it now, more than a year after release, who passed on it when it first released. And they are enjoying it. And I enjoyed it. I did. I enjoyed it. I don't know if I'd say thoroughly. I enjoyed it while I played it. But after playing it, and especially after getting all the endings, had no desire to go back to it. Anyway, this wasn't supposed to be a Cyberpunk topic. New World and Valheim, again, both deserving titles. New World, has its problems, but again, large player base, they accomplished something pretty good there. So, and a Valheim, of course. Well, what are we? Oh, that's the next one. Okay. Anyway, Resident Evil Village, I'm happy with that one. VR Game of the Year, well, let's see here. You definitely have, not a lot to pick from compared to some of the other categories. Cooking Simulator VR, apparently the winner. And just looking at the shot, I had not played this, but I can see why it might be just a fun time. So I expect you to die too. I've never even heard of that. Blair Witch VR. Is that the one from Bloober Team? I would imagine so. Anyway, okay. Labor of Love Terraria. Interesting. So this is an interesting category. So are these kind of ongoing games that are, just continually being worked on? Something like, this game has been out for a while. The team is well past the debut of the creative baby, but being the good parents they are, these devs continue to nurture and support their creation. This game, to this day, is still getting new content after all these years. So that's the category description. Terraria won it. Interesting. Let's see. Better with friends, so that'll be multiplayer. Outstanding visual style. Let's see that one. Forza Horizon 5, absolutely. The game just looks amazing. Now, I kind of wish that the winner had gone to one of these more stylized games. But in any case, because Forza Horizon 5 looks amazing, but it was going for photorealism, right? And it's visual style doesn't aspire to real-world graphical fidelity, though a noble goal in itself. I must be missing something here, because it looked like they were going for photorealism in all the material I saw of this game. Maybe someone who's actually played it can leave a comment and let me know why, what is it about the visual style of that game that stands out? I just saw this one. Best game you suck at. Let's see. This is the game that rewards persistence and is not for the faint of heart. It's the toughest game we've ever loved. Okay. Age of Empires 4. Okay. But anyway, Neo 2. Haven't played any of these. Can't comment. But you want to suck at a game. Try Halo Infinite. Legendary difficulty, all skulls on. Yikes, man. Oh, yikes. Okay. That's what I've been playing lately, because apparently I like to torture myself. Most innovative gameplay, Deathloop won that one. I have to agree with that one, although I'm kind of surprised Inscription didn't take it. Inscription is one of the most innovative games I've seen. They created a card game, but then created this world around it. So you're actually a character in the game in first-person perspective, playing the card game against this mysterious opponent in this cabin, and there's this weird story that unravels. It's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Like whoever developed this game had a crazy imagination, and that's the one I would have voted for, much as I do love Deathloop. 12 minutes. This one definitely has an interesting style. It just didn't look all that appealing to me, but Moncage, I've never even heard of. That certainly looks different, whatever it is. And then Loop Hero I have heard of. But, anyway, okay. That one makes sense. Anyway, that makes sense. I'm a little surprised that Deathloop beat out Inscription. Best soundtrack, Guardians of the Galaxy, really? Okay. And then we have Sit Back and Relax. Okay, Farming Simulator won that one. Farming Simulator 22. Dwarf Romantic. Oh, I played that on live stream. That game's that's a pretty relaxing game. If it's the one I'm thinking of. Oh yeah. Wait. I might be mixing it up with something else. Townscaper. Well, these all do look like pretty relaxing games. But let's see here. So this is why I wanted to talk about this. So this is what caught my eye, which is what reminded me that the Steam Awards were a thing, and why I wanted to talk about this. So Cyberpunk 2077 won Outstanding Story-Rich Game. It's if we're going based on Well, okay, let's just read the category description. Some days, only a narrative-heavy game will hit the spot, and this one packs a wallop. It's as gripping as any soap opera and as well-tuned as any prestige TV screenplay. Bravissimo for making us feel things. You know, I mean, it had characters, moments, aspects of the story that were fantastic. Be perfectly honest, like, I liked Johnny Silverhand as a character. I like Keanu Reeves. I might get some, I might catch some hate for this, but I don't quite, he's not who I would have cast for the part. You know, let's put it that way. But anyway, the whole Johnny Silverhand storyline was okay. It was just okay, in my opinion. The rest, like, a lot of the subplots, the stories around the other characters, like Judy and Evelyn and who else? I remember the hot women, but none of the others. You know, what's his name? Johnny's bandmate. The dude. His name will come to me. The guy whose, you know, mansion you go to, whatever. So yeah, lots of cool stuff in here, in there, but overall would not have voted it for this category. I probably would have given it to Resident Evil Village or Days Gone or Mass Effect. I mean, any one of those. Life is Strange, I've never really had an interest in, but that's just me. I mean, again, like I can only go based on the games I'm familiar with, but let me know in the comments which ones you would have voted for in all of these categories. And yeah, let's move on to something else here. If I were Blitzchung right now, I feel like I would be sitting back, sipping a holiday eggnog, maybe a little rum, maybe a little spice in it, however you make those, and just relaxing and feeling a little bit vindicated. Because these, not only because of what's going on with China, but also, I mean, Blizzard's in the toilet for a whole bunch of reasons right now, and it's actually rather, I almost forgot about the Blitzchung incident, but you know, now that this company that decided they were going to censor and ban somebody for daring to support Hong Kong, they're in the toilet for ethical lapses that are unthinkable, and what Blitzchung did was not even an ethical lapse, but I mean, in my opinion, it's the utmost ethical lapse if you are the CCP, but and I think my video just got shut down by YouTube for even daring to say that, but whatever, we'll carry on here. But now in gloating about this a little bit, I'm gloating about it in, you know, this is kind of an in-your-face moment to these big corporations that are trying to bow to Chinese censorship and control and dictatorship. Not, I mean, for these 14,000 Chinese gaming companies that are now shutting down, I have nothing but empathy, and this sucks. This is disgusting. So China's been clamping down on gaming, which, again, these big Western companies have been bending over backwards to take it up the rear end to get just to taste a piece of that lucrative Chinese market, and now it's shutting down on them. So, you know, it's nice to see them getting their just desserts, but we can't forget that the people in China are, you know, being treated really unfairly. The people who work at these gaming companies, the people who enjoy video games, and the people who maybe want to play video games from people, you know, that are made in their own country and that kind of a thing. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, 14,000 Chinese gaming companies. I mean, honestly, if I were to guess how many gaming companies exist in the world, then I don't know if I would have guessed as high as 14,000. But I mean, that said, a lot of these are probably small 1 to 2 person outfits, not necessarily, you know, an office with employees in them. It could be one guy at a computer who has a company. So anyway, but regardless, so all of these game companies are getting shut down because China basically put a pause on licensing any new games. And now we're getting, we'd heard this a while back, and now we're getting some numbers on it, and it's very, very sad, very disturbing. This is on top of them, really putting the clamp down on when kids can play video games in, what people can do for hobbies in their own homes. They have to make laws about that, restrict that, because that's what happens when you live in an authoritarian dictatorship. And people they're capitulating to this. I mean, that Western companies are capitulating to this and don't think that it's going to turn around and bite them in the ass is just the peak of millennial naivete. Honest to God. How did these people get so stupid? Why does everyone... It seems like... I'm going on a total tangent here, I realize that, but why would... Everyone from my generation who hasn't had a proper education seems to think that everyone in the world thinks like they do. Or you're evil. So, you either think exactly like they do or you're evil. And so you can reason, but you could reason with people that have... I'm not making my point very well. I was going to say they think they can reason. Maybe it's that they think you're evil if you don't immediately come to their way of thinking or something like that. But anyway, did you really think, game companies, that if you were nice to China, that they'd be nice to you in return? That's not how it works. You got to go read some Aesop's fables and maybe learn a thing or two. Okay, tangent over. I don't know if that made any sense, but I just get disgusted with how foolish, not necessarily dumb, but how foolish many people are who are in charge of making decisions these days. It's to the point where Tencent is even trying to focus elsewhere in the world. They've opened a branch in Singapore. ByteDance, the parent company of TikTok, has been laying off employees at Ohio, a gaming company focused on the Chinese market. So you have, so the small companies are just shutting down. The big ones that have resources are looking elsewhere, basically. Ohio's 150 games have been downloaded 500 million times. Oh, interesting. I've never even heard of this company. I don't know what games they make. Just out of curiosity, going to make a quick detour here. Okay. I have no idea. Anyway, Chinese president has spoken out against video game addiction among minors and believes that making gaming for more than a few hours illegal was the best solution. Right. Yeah, that's the best solution, because that always works. That always works. You want people to not do something? Make it illegal. That's better than having them decide for themselves that they don't want to do the unhealthy behavior. And I mean, video game addiction can be a problem, but I mean, this is the parents' job to deal with this. This is garbage. Anyway, let's see. This is far from the first time China has restricted gaming within its borders. All video game consoles had previously been banned for 15 years, with authorities citing concern over childhood development. But China's gaming restrictions for kids haven't exactly worked. Oh, what a surprise! SupChina reported that once Chinese children use up their limited gaming time, they turn to social media and watch others game. And on the internet, kids can pay to borrow adults' accounts for a few hours so they can circumvent the rules for minors. While with children's gaming freedoms restricted with and a national moratorium on new game licenses. It's unclear if the country, which has called video games spiritual opium, what the hell? I think they're smoking some other kind of opium. We'll change its tune anytime soon. I'm sorry, you want a spiritual opium? This, we saw this coming. Why the CEOs of giant gaming companies couldn't see it coming is beyond me. Guess they can't see beyond that 14th yacht. But anyway, this was so predictable it hurts. So that's it for today. Thanks so much for sticking with me through this show. Thank you for listening. Please do slam the like button if you enjoyed this. Hop on the Discord server and post topics you'd like to hear spoken about here on Triple S Podcasts or made into content on the Triple S League channel. Of course, subscribe here on Triple S Podcasts to catch this show regularly, plus Maximum News with Max Darrett and Cy Obsidian, which goes live on Saturdays. And I think they're doing a show this week. I'm pretty sure they're doing a show this week, so you should be able to catch that this week. We took the last couple of weeks off for the Christmas break. By the way, hope you all had a great holiday. And as I said at the beginning, let's have a positive outlook going into 2022. I'm definitely trying to do that. There's a lot of bad in the world, but we can create a lot of good in the world as well. So let's do that. All right. Yes, and again, this is pre-recorded. Previously, I was doing this show live. Again, I'm still making decisions. The live show, I was running out of energy partway through. I was running out of breath. I was getting a really dry mouth and having to mute the microphone to drink water, which resulted in a lot of dead air, stuff like that. So I'm not sure if a live show is the best format for this show or not. Of course, doing it pre-recorded, I miss out on, responding to the live chat. So there's trade-offs everywhere. Still making decisions about this, but I hope you enjoyed the show. I of course, welcome your feedback on the Discord server or in the comments. Although I'd prefer, if you got feedback about the show itself, I'd prefer that be on the Discord server. If you have comments about the topics, I'd prefer that be in the comments here on YouTube. But either or is fine. Anyway, so I'll bid you farewell for this week. And again, I'm intending for the show to always go live at this time, Wednesday afternoons. But as far as what format it'll take, I am, it's in flux still. It's in flux. But thank you so much for joining, like I said, and I will talk to you again very soon.